Timberwolves?
OKC just knocked the Timberwolves out.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Now, isn't it just the Knicks and the Pacers?
Girl, if the Knicks ain't in the finals, I ain't watching. Okay.
That's what everyone's
like, come on, Knicks.
Right. It's gotta be the Knicks.
It's gotta be the Knicks. It's been a minute.
Why does it have to be the Knicks? Who's the best
player? Because Alicia, just mind your business and know that it has to be the Knicks.
Because we gotta watch the Knicks play basketball.
Now that everybody else's team has been eliminated, everybody's rooting for the Knicks.
Knicks need to win.
Yeah.
They need to win.
Okay, season are running, so I'm gonna root for them.
Okay, Oklahoma. What do you care about Oklahoma?
First of all, I'm from Oklahoma. See, this is how you don't know me. Tell me, what about Oklahoma? Hello.
So I know I'm keeping this in, right?
Yeah, I saw the record thing. I'm like, I can't believe these divas are so
Oklahoma.
Self-centered.
You from Oklahoma for real?
I know.
Joe, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Okay.
Are you really from Oklahoma?
You lying.
Why do you think I moved over close over here to my family's over there?
Oh, she's not joking. She real talking.
Hello? I knew that.
Well, girl, your people made it to the NBA finals.
Yes.
They ain't gonna stay there.
They ain't gonna stay there because the Knicks is going to win.
I'm definitely rooting for them now. Usually I don't care about basketball like that, but you guys have motivated me to knock y'all down a peg.
Oh, Lord. She gonna put some bad juju out there.
Oklahoma don't win nothing. No, they ain't winning.
Joe, don't do that because you're gonna mess up the Knicks because we already know how sometimes the Knicks be fumbling at the 8th hour.
Sometimes.
That's why it's been a century.
It has been. I think I must have been probably like in elementary school.
Yeah, it's exciting that the Knicks might make it to the finals.
No, but last year they did well too.
They did. No, they have
last year they did well too.
Jalen Brunson is no joke.
He is there's a couple of players on that squad that I was just like,
they got a good team.
They got a good team, and they deserve. I think they deserve it.
Finally
because they usually get they usually get nutted on.
New York, those are hardcore fans, so I'm happy.
Yes,
would be happy.
Yes.
Thank you. And New York, sorry, I don't got all the greatest teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we have to be happy,
here, but
exactly. I'm very happy.
I'm not out there for a pimp.
All right.
Once the Lakers fall, then I root for the Warriors. Now that the Warriors are gone, I want to see the Knicks win.
So, are you guys proud of yourselves? Knicks is your third top pick. All right, nice. Not even
New Yorker. I'm not a New Yorker, and I'm rooting for them.
I'm a New Yorker, and I'm rooting for them, and I was rooting for them from the beginning. Sorry, Oklahoma.
They're an iconic team, Alicia. I think most of the country.
Their uniform looks nicer. Sorry.
Most of the country would be happy to see them get a championship.
Yeah, like you said, it's been a long while coming.
Yeah, so just give it to them. Just give it to them.
We'll see. We'll see. I won't put any bets down, but maybe.
They lost the World Series, so let's give New York something to believe.
This is the last stop on this train. Everyone, please leave the train. Thank you for riding with MTA New York City Transit.
They fell to LA in the World Series, so.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
And action.
Hello and welcome back to Date with the Divas. Thank you for clicking on our channel. We have some hot topics to discuss with you, and I hope you have your beverage of choice at the ready because our topics are steaming. Now, if you haven't subscribed, come on, click on that subscribe button. Don't forget to like our video, comment on the video, and also hit on that notification bell so you never miss out on our newest videos, all right?
Because the divas are
always deliver.
Oh my God.
I didn't even know.
Our short thing.
Always deliver?
I don't expect Oklahoma to know, but I expect you to know.
Well, first off, we've been off for a couple of weeks, so I went on Tree so that like, okay, you gotta give her some slack now, Lava. You gotta give her some slack.
She never get it right.
No, she got it right
Right,
once.
once.
And I gave her accolades in the video.
And I got it right
Yeah.
tonight. I came up
So
with it.
you got it right
Right,
afterwards.
afterwards.
All right, y'all.
All right, let's
Grab
go.
your beverage of choice. Let's go. Let's start, Ms. Entreese. Take that sip because we're gonna need it.
Okay, so the tea tonight is piping. Rarely does reality TV and politics
Glad.
intervene, but yesterday it happened. So for those of you who don't know, there was a very popular reality show called Chrisley Knows Best, starring Todd Chrisley and his wife Julie Chrisley and their kids, stepkids, blended family. Well, the Chrisleys went to prison, to federal prison, in January of 2022, I believe,
Yeah.
for tax evasion and
That
for
long ago?
Yeah.
prison.
Family.
January 2022. They were charged with tax evasion for a number of years and for lying on loan documents. So they would fake bank statements. They would lie about their income. They would turn in fraudulent tax returns in order to get loans. And they did this over a number of years. Because if you watch the Chrisleys, they live a pretty lavish lifestyle.
It's life. Yeah, most definitely.
A lot of it was based on fraudulent loans. So it caught up with them. I think, like it always does, somebody got in a fight with their accountant or somebody
Like
bailed
I'm
on
telling.
them. They were charged and convicted. And most people were surprised that Todd.
And that's why.
Todd got 12 years in federal prison. And
Was it straight time or was it like 12 to serve?
12 years.
Okay, it's 12 years. Okay. But in federal prison, that's light time.
7 years.
It's jail, girl.
And they were sentenced to 2 different states to serve their time in 2 different states. So,
so
the
husband and wife went away.
2 different, yeah.
Got 12, she got 7, 2 different prisons, and you can't communicate with other prisoners.
Right.
So they basically separated the couple for at least 7 years because she got 7. So yesterday, so they have kids, they have adult children from together and from separate relationships. And also when they went to prison, Todd and Julie were raising Todd's granddaughter.
Daughter.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, his son had a baby with an African-American woman, and they had a child, and both of them the mother and the father were not great parents. And so the Chrisleys were raising a little girl. And so the daughter, I forgot her name. I forgot the daughter's name, but she's been fighting for her parents, and she's been raising the little girl since her parents went to prison. Does that make sense?
Savannah, the oldest one, Savannah,
their oldest daughter. Well, she's not their oldest daughter, but
she's the second oldest
together, right?
Yeah.
Older daughter, both of theirs, or just one of theirs?
That I don't know. She came in, flew in, that type of. I just know like Savannah, the son.
Savannah's their kid together.
Yes.
Savannah has been holding it down while her parents have been in prison, and she's been raising the granddaughter that Todd and Julie were raising.
I thought I was going to say, where were the kids? Okay.
Yeah. So the Chrisleys got some great news. Our president, Donald J. Trump, pardoned the Chrisleys. He says they're terrific people and they deserve another chance at life. And so the Chrisleys have been officially pardoned by the president. The president and as well as the governor of each state do have the authority to pardon people, which releases them from imprisonment, and it also expunges their record of the charges. So the public is split on this, whether or not this was fair. Was it political? There was some talk that the Chrisleys, as Republicans, were convicted because this happened under Biden's administration, and people are just going wild with it. But what did
Biden have to do with them being?
Girl, I don't know.
Being frauds.
About exactly. You lying on your tax returns. Like,
exactly.
Responsible for that. But anyway, what do we feel about this? Do we feel like it's fair, unfair, just, unjust?
Well, I feel like
go ahead, Alicia. Sorry.
I definitely feel like it's not fair. I feel like you can't just be handing out pardons to all your personal friends, or even though he claims he's not friends with them, we clearly saw a picture of one of the daughters at
the Republican
convention. She
and she even spoke. She even spoke at it.
Oh, did she? See, yeah.
I believe she might have spoke.
Are we talking about the most recent convention?
Yes, I have a picture. Did you not see my photos?
We did.
The 24th. It's 2024. It said 2024.
Oh, it did? Okay.
Yeah, 2024.
Oh, that was Savannah at the. Oh, okay. I didn't know. Okay. Well, it paid off.
Right. Exactly. It seems like certain higher ups like to get paid off, and then all of a sudden you can turn a blind eye. So I definitely don't think it was fair when there's plenty of people who are in jail for little to no evidence, but yet this whole tax stuff. I mean, our country's in debt, and you're trying to like get money, but yet you're letting all these other people. Oh, you don't want to pay your taxes? Fine. You want to lie and do all this sort of stuff?
No, it's different strokes for different folks. Because I know if that was me, Uncle Sam would have been taking my money like as soon as I saw my tax return. He's like,
the next year,
give me that money.
That part.
That's exactly it. It's like when the low man on the totem pole, files late or whatever the case may have, you coming after me, but it takes a millionaire like 50 million years for them to say, oh, now we're filing it tax evasion against you because you haven't filed taxes in 10 years. I'm like, it took you 10 years to figure that out. Meanwhile, I didn't pay my $636 for my past taxes, and you coming to garnish my paycheck.
For real, all right.
Yeah.
Or putting a lien on my bank account.
Yeah, it's like whatever system they use to audit people only zeroes in on certain zip codes of areas versus other zip codes,
or at least different tax brackets that they're coming after. It's unfortunate, but I mean, I don't necessarily know the background to this, but on the surface, I don't understand the reason behind it. Like, I'm sure, how do we say this? There are more worthy,
candidates.
Like Alicia said, like somebody that, I don't know, they're wrongly, or the evidence
exactly unjustly. Exactly.
Like this, or I don't know.
Well, let me ask a question. Do you guys think? So you lied on your tax returns. You didn't always pay your taxes. You lied to get some loans.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think people should go to prison for 12 years for that?
Depends on how long they've done it, though, and how much
money
lie about. It's literally
when you're signing those things are saying under perjury.
Of course, it's illegal. We got that, but.
So if one person says, if you say, oh, hey, well, maybe not this one, not 10 years, whatever, and the next one and the next one and the next one. So then, you people, it goes, what is it? You take an arm for whatever, I don't know. You go too far on it, so yes. Whatever it has to be for whatever counts. I mean, they must have figured that out. Like, it could have been, and I don't know for a fact, but it could have been, okay, they did these amount of times, and this is why they had to tack on the years.
And that's essentially what happens. The charge has, a mandatory, either based on it, most likely has a mandatory minimum or a standard, like 5 to 15 years. And based on the number of charges that they have, and I'm assuming that it is based on how many times it was done. And then also it takes into account the amount of money that was fraudulently taken. And then if you have all those counts in each, and I'm just throwing a number, let's say each count is 5 to 15 on each count. And if they took a plea, which most likely they did, and let's say the standard would have been 25 years and they gave them a deal based on those charges, they didn't take a plea.
So this is
okay. So yeah. So, and then what happens is some of the charges merge together. So based on some of the acts,
that means the sentences can run consecutively. So if
the judge can based on the charges, they can run consecutively or concurrently. And so, exactly.
And
I
another,
just feel like with white collar crimes, and I know my opinion is a little controversial.
Yeah.
I don't know that I need people to be serving.
Yeah.
so let
Like,
me ask you, Antrees.
so if they were
let me
taking
ask
your pension, that's a white collar
Oh,
crime
what
right
I'm talking
there.
about victim lists. Like
No, but
Martha,
even
like
those
Martha
loans.
Stewart went to prison for investing in some stock because she got a tip that she wasn't supposed to get. It's called insider trading.
Mm-hmm.
That's a victimless crime. I didn't feel like Martha Stewart needed to serve a prison sentence for that. There are people who commit violent crimes that get probation.
But
Get
the
a year or
word,
two.
that's semi like victimless, because yes, but there are more. She's not the only person that's she's gaining off of my
Mike.
misfortune, like I could have, yeah, because look, I could have been she's so, and
The company was being sold and she found out, and so she invested or divested, one of those things. It was
yeah, and made
trading.
money off of that.
So
Meanwhile,
that
I
didn't
didn't know
affect my
that
life though.
information.
Come on now. That did
I'm
not affect
just
my life.
saying. I'm saying it didn't hurt me, but somebody in her caliber. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? So she got it. That's just like on a test, an SAT, and you got, whatever the high
The
score
answers.
is, and I'm 1 point below because you got the answer and you getting to go into that school. So there is a victim in it to a point. You see what I'm saying?
So then I feel like you shouldn't get to go to the school. I don't need you to serve 6 months in prison for that.
But sometimes, Antrees, people don't learn their lesson until
Exactly.
number one. And number two, let me ask you.
But the Chrisleys had never been convicted of anything before.
Let me ask you a
Who
question.
cares?
It takes
Hold
one.
on.
It take exactly.
Go ahead, Alicia. Sorry, we
Okay.
cut you off.
So, Antrees, do you think people who rob a bank, should they go to jail or not go to jail?
Yes, there are victims in those crimes. Usually they come in the bank with guns. They provide the mask.
The Chrisleys
And they
robbed the
take
bank.
money that
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Jill.
they take money that belongs to other people.
Where's
What do you
the
think they
money
do
in
when
the
they're taking
bank
money from a
from?
bank?
If I
They're
ask
lying to
you
a bank.
for
The
a
bank gets the money
loan-
from other people.
If I ask you for a loan and I tell you it's because my mama's sick and she's not sick, I really just want to go buy a new dress. Should I go to prison?
That's
That's my money, because you don't know
Yes.
if my money was because
would've
I
never
was
been.
saving for a mortgage on my house, and I was like, you know what, you're gonna pay me back. I'm gonna give it to you. And then here you are going to buy some dress, and
Right.
you're going to Vegas with my mortgage money, girl. Yeah, you going to jail.
Yeah, but these banks are not.
So I'm gonna ask you this: you have two people that rob a series of stores, right? They rob a series of stores, two separate criminals, same criminal history or whatever the case may have you. Both rob several places and they have victims because it was an armed robbery. One robs with a real gun and one happens to be a fake gun.
No, same thing. Same thing. But it's different than, for me, it's like con artists. Like if I trick you out of your money, that's different than robbing you. If I tricked you and you gave it to me,
old people that get conned out of all their money and stuff.
and I think
all
people
good?
is different than the banks. Like the banks can get bailed out. They don't, it's not.
But the
really
thing is,
their
so
money.
they got all that money and they gave them that offer that fortune. Here I am filing my paperwork and being diligent about putting all the right numbers in and trying to get my little loan so I can just to pay my bills and do a loan consolidation.
Chump,
You
right?
see how ridiculous these lives
Because of all this stuff, the interest rates is going up.
You didn't watch Goodfellas? You're a chump.
So, Antrees, are you telling us that you may or may not have done this before, allegedly?
I'm not saying I may or not have done this before. It's all like the drugs. I feel like if I want to sell them and somebody wants to buy them, where's the crime? Like,
do you hear yourself? Do you not know what you're saying?
It's like prostitution. If she's selling the cootie and I want to buy the cootie, who are we hurting?
Supply and demand.
Why is somebody going to jail?
Because 9 times out of 10, prostitution is based on coercion.
But usually the woman gets arrested for prostitution.
Oh, most definitely. And then the woman doesn't want to turn in her pimp.
I don't think that prostitution should be illegal. I don't think drugs should be illegal. I don't think that people who steal from the bank on a loan document should be in prison for 12 years. That's just my personal opinion.
Put him in jail, put him in jail, put him in jail.
Thank you. I'm trying to get my little loan so I can consolidate, and they denying my tail.
Anarchy, I tell you.
We be redlining and stuff like that, and you know.
Thank you. And now the rules have become that much more like stringent because of people like them who keep I'm legitly putting in my correct paperwork, but they see a line and they're like, that line looks like they could, try to fix something. But meanwhile, that's what they were doing, and they looking at me.
But you guys are not comfortable with restitution. Like if you stole $1 million from the government,
was there some sort of restitution, or was it just prison?
Restitution when there's
not necessarily. It's up to the judge to determine whether or not there's restitution.
I think restitution, 6 months of house arrest, pay the money back.
How are they gonna pay it? They spent it all. They get the money to spend it back. Then what?
You'll be on probation until you get it all paid back.
So they do what you say, restitution. Okay, I did my 6 months. I'm in the house. Here's your measly million. It's all good because I got millions or more. And tomorrow I'm gonna do it again. It's all good.
I think that's different. I do think that's different. Repeat offenders, yes.
But that's what I'm saying though. There's a reason why we have the punishments sometimes. The punishment sometimes is to make sure you are aware
that you don't do it again.
This is critical and you're not going to do it again. But if I'm going to just be like, okay, it's all right, just pay these people back. So it doesn't matter to me. I got millions chilling here. I'm going to do it tomorrow.
So you think that Chrisley should have done 7 to 12 years?
Yes.
Okay. Entourage, jump down in the comments and let us know. How do you feel about this? Are you?
I'm glad we all said it at the same time. You can understand, okay?
Do you agree with these three? If you lie in your tax returns, they should come get you.
I told you the tax man's coming for my $632 in my bank account.
For real, it's frozen.
It's frozen.
Come payday, you got nada.
Thank you.
Let us know what you think. And if you made it this far, you're enjoying our videos. So why not just hit that subscribe button? If you don't feel like subscribing, the least you could do is hit that like. It helps this channel and channels like ours to move through that algorithm. So thank you for joining us tonight. We dropped.
We gotta do another one. That's it.
We gonna do another video.
You just messed her up, like.
Right.
Sorry.
And let's go to the next one.
Remember, we said we were gonna do.
Right. I'm like, someone wasn't paying attention.
My bad. I didn't think it was like set in stone. My bad.
I mean, it helps us to be able to do 2 instead of 1, don't you think?
Yeah, it does. No, I agree.
And I think the algorithm like shorter videos, don't they?
Yeah, because we'd be getting along sometimes. We were doing really good with like 30 minutes. That was
minutes, yeah. But I do like how it was. We all said no, like all at one time. Like, yes, they deserve to go to jail.
And then he got 12 years. I was evident. Like, for what? For lying on some documents? My God.
Please.
Who among us doesn't do that?
So on trees, the man you marrying lied and said he's the multi-millionaire and he signed the paperwork saying so, and come to find out tomorrow, you like, what, boo? We living in the boondocks?
That's different. That is not a victimless crime. I am a victim in that situation.
You supposedly still love him. You still love him,
I've
girl.
been bamboozled.
You love he.
I've been bamboozled. I'm the victim.
No. Oh, Lord.
He doesn't need
to go to
you
a chump. That's what you said.
You a chump.
Go to prison. No,
she's a chump. I like that, Joe. Use a chump.
Yeah, ready for the next?
Yeah.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Hello, this is Date with the Divas.
Well, this team has been percolating for a while, but there's been some updates that has brought it back onto the internet streets. So most of us have heard about the incident that took place. Where did it take place?
Maryland.
In Maryland at a beauty shop where a young girl went in for services. She got her hair did. The service was $150. It turned out she didn't have it. Her brother cash apped the wrong person. He tried to cash app the hairdresser, but he cash apped somebody with a similar name, and she was unable to procure the funds for her hairdo. Well, an altercation ensued that went viral. 70 million people have watched the video of the hairdresser dragging the young lady across the shop. And so, for those of you who didn't see it, who were rock, we will share it with you now. So this is the shop.
Picks up a video over 70
Let me say this video comes courtesy of the Shade Room.
million people on X have been talking about.
Sit right here and see somebody send it. I'm not playing. You just tried to run. You lucky I beat the person.
Good. I did grab her by her hood and I brought her back in the shop. And let me clarify this too, how she even got on the ground. It is steps, how I said it's steps. So like we was both, we was both coming down and then
Wait.
something happened with our legs and we both fell on the ground. It's just, I got up.
The client stayed planted on the floor for a few seconds while one of Cunningham's other clients checks to see what's going on.
Now I'm like, because the whole time I thought I was about to get my payment. And I honestly feel like whoever she was on the phone with told her to run out. Boom, that was like 20 minutes. Still no payment. I said again, I'm like, girl, let me take your hair out. Like, because I'm like, at this point, I know I'm not about to get paid now.
Okay, so the hairdresser, when the video went viral, everybody had an opinion about whether.
Question: who released the video?
I don't know.
That's the thing. I was trying to figure out who released the video. How did it? Who
Because
released
it was an aerial view, right?
Exactly.
So it must have been the
Was it
salon.
for the because it looks like
because
you know what it looks like. You know how people rent booths, like like in those big warehouse places, and they rent booth. Maybe it was a secure, the area
the lobby area.
the lobby, yeah.
Okay. So the story came up again because I believe it's the Shade Room. Somebody from the Shade Room.
Correct.
It was posted on their site. Did an interview with the hairstylist because she was getting a lot of heat.
Flack, yeah.
A lot of flack online because the girl that she was dragging, the customer, turned out to be 15 years old. Now, let's be clear, the hairstylist is only 18.
18.
It's only been 18 for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not a lot of space between her
she
and
was 18 at the time.
18 at
yes.
the time.
Okay.
She had literally, she said that.
You're not in that adult mind frame.
3 years older
She
than
doesn't.
the girl.
Exactly.
They sisters.
Basically.
Right.
So she was explaining more. She was giving a little bit more context, which was that when the girl told her, when she figured out the brother had cash apped the wrong person, she gave her 20 minutes to call other people to get the money. The money wasn't coming. The girl started trying to walk outside. That's when she said she was dragging her by her hood. It looks like she's dragging her by her hair, but she said she had her
dragged by the hood
of her jacket and was dragging her just to keep her in the space because
she said, "You just sit there. You sit right there."
And I just want to show this hairstyle that they was fighting over.
It was like a ponytail, and she said she had never done it before.
Oh, she hasn't done it before? Okay. So
yeah, she said that was the first time. It took her like 4 hours to do it. And that was the first time that she was doing that particular style.
It's pretty. It's very pretty.
It's all right,
It's very pretty. So she said the girl said her mother would get paid in 2 weeks.
Yes.
And so she would get her the money in 2 weeks. And she she wasn't feeling that. Like, I'm never going to see it. She's like, in 2 weeks, your hair will be messed up. You'll be trying to get it done again.
Right.
Exactly.
$100. So no, you need to sit here and figure this out. So she was really just trying to keep her within her vicinity while she figured out how to run her money. Right. Once she figured out that wasn't going to happen, like maybe an hour had passed, she had made 10 phone calls. Her solution, the hairdressers, was, let me just have my hair back.
Thank you. We're going to cut this bad boy out.
That was exactly her mindset too, Lava.
We're going to cut this out because she came with scissors.
Right. The hair is really most of probably the $150. Yeah. So she says, no, I want my hair. I don't want to get my hair cut out. So the young girl didn't want the hair cut. She's calling her mama. The mama calls the police. That's when the situation got resolved. But she had cut out some of the hair before the
Yeah.
So she was given her backstory, which I've given you most of it. She said, I'm not that much. People were saying that I did this to a 15-year-old girl. She said she didn't know the girl was 15.
Because the girl was bigger than her.
Right.
Yeah. She didn't know this was a 15-year-old girl. And it's in her policy that if somebody, she'll do as young as 13, but if you're 13 to 18, you have to be accompanied by an adult.
An adult.
So she says moving forward, because the interviewer kept asking her, what did you learn from this? Like, what are you going to be doing differently moving forward? And she said, moving forward, if somebody is underage, they will have to be accompanied. Like the adult will have to be there with them the entire time that their hair is getting done, because she feels she's being unfairly targeted for doing this to a teenager when she didn't really know the girl was a teenager. But I mean, she's a young entrepreneur. We all want to be one now. Nobody wants to go work a regular job. We all want to be bosses. And apparently we want to be a boss at 17. I mean, do we feel like, you know, she's deserving of the criticism that she's receiving?
I will say this. How she reacted, and I think the interviewer said it too, and she recognized it. There were so many different avenues that she could have went down that she did not have to resort to what she did. Now, again, she said how they fell down the steps, because it was like a series of steps, how they fell. She didn't have to drag her. But then again, it's like you're trying to look at both purviews. Like the little girl was trying to leave. And then when she saw her after she tried to run, her sister later on said, oh, she was trying to get a better signal. No, she was making them 10 phone calls inside the salon and they was going through. So she was trying to run. But also it's just like they probably could have come to something like the mother was on the phone. Like, why at that point she should have just said, okay, fine, I'm an adult trying to, you know, be this adult person. But again, we already know that her mind is not an adult. She should have just waited for a parent to actually come and be like, okay, how about we just wait for your mother and we'll discuss X, Y, Z and figure this out. And you know what? Sometimes you got to leave it to God, give people grace, and then you get twice as much and say, you know what? She said that eventually the money was going to come. And if the money doesn't come, you're going to, you know, karma will, just like your shirt, Joe, karma will come and you're going to lose twice as much than you made me lose. But sometimes you got to be the bigger person. But again, your age, hopefully this experience makes her react differently the next time.
And you know, she's in the moment too. So
exactly,
hindsight always is fine, you know, the best, you know. So in the moment, I think she was just like, this girl's gonna run on me.
And she was trying. She straight up was.
Yeah, I think she was too.
Because she was,
and her money is her money.
Point. She had called 10 people. The money wasn't coming. This chick is trying to cut the hair out my head. After I sat 4 hours, you don't have to use that 4 hours. You ain't cutting shit out my head.
I don't know nothing about that.
To be true.
I don't know nothing about that.
She can't wash dishes, so she could be like, "Look, I'm gonna stay here and blow dry some hair for you or something."
Yeah, I just but also the reality is you got 2 little kids. Basically, it's 2 little kids.
Oh, these 2, yes.
Yeah, it's 2 little kids, you know, and it's just
the nature of the beast too. Because again, and we don't know too, like in some of these kind of smaller type businesses, you know, unfortunately, that's the kind of thing, you know, you know that. What is it, grab and run or whatever kind of, you know, those
that's the grabs.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's more, unfortunately, probably a little bit more common. So she's kind of like, you know, always on her, you know, on edge with every customer, you know what I'm saying?
And I think this was like the second time something like this happened to her.
He said that, yes. There was somebody who...
But I think the last time it was an older woman that tried to do that, and she ended up throwing blood. Well, the woman who tried to leave ended up hitting her first. Yeah. And so she's like, she hit me first, and they ended up going to blows.
That's why I'm wondering if that baby, and by that baby, I mean the hairstylist, is she licensed? has she gone to cosmetology?
I was thinking that too.
You know, maybe she needs to be in somebody's salon, renting a booth, learning from older women who've been in the game a little bit
True.
longer, under the protection of a store owner.
Exactly, under the supervision and what's it called?
Like an apprenticeship, you know,
mentoring,
And if you're in
exactly.
somebody else's shop and somebody's not paying, you have somebody to, hey, listen,
Back you,
what do I do?
exactly.
And then the owner can take on the responsibility of getting that.
Well, but then she's trying to be an entrepreneur. So
But you know,
Exactly.
she's
Everybody-
doing it.
But
The
you
thing
with
is,
babies, you gotta walk before you
Right,
run.
yeah.
You gotta
True.
crawl before you
but you know what?
walk.
Everybody want to be on the the next big thing. But I give her credit because she's 18 and she's renting her own booth. Like she's paying, she's able to pay the rent.
Yeah, no, she's running a salon basically.
She's technically running her own little spot instead of
But
paying
two
for a
fights make
chair.
me think like maybe she's taking on a little bit more than what.
And I agree. She doesn't have the
what
mentality
she
to take
needs
on
to
that base.
do is find Pookie, the big Pookie right there, and be like, Pookie, I need you to stay here for 8 hours while I'm here, so nobody try and rob me.
But look, this is the irony. I don't know if you got this far in the
I was open.
She had the mother's credit card and ended up charging the mother.
Exactly. Because she didn't think it was going to go through. She didn't think
the
about
mother
that.
said, why didn't she just charge my credit card from the beginning? And the interviewer asked her that. Why didn't you just charge?
She said sometimes they lock it. I know she said sometimes they lock it and she wasn't sure it was locked. But then she saw maybe, and again, in the moment, she should have thought about that and be like, okay, you know what? You know what? You don't have the money. Let me see if this credit card go through on, your hold one. But in the moment, she probably wasn't thinking that. But she ended up, I think she charged it, but she ended up refunding them the money anyway.
But that's where being in somebody's salon who's more seasoned would say, we have a card on file. Let me know how to charge. You know what I mean? I just feel like she's out there 18 years old, running a business.
Trying to adult when she's not an adult.
On her own. Yeah.
So she just like you said, it's not that she can't do it, but she probably just needs a mentor to kind of guide her in those,
instances,
those nuances of having your own business, and not just business, but one of these like little shops that you rent a space, all of that type of stuff. Because
everybody thinks that doing something is always so easy. Like, oh, if it's just doing hair, I can do that. I can just have them come in my living room and they can get it done and all. You know what I mean? It's like no. There's a little process. There's a reason why there's no overnight success. There's no real overnight success. It takes practice. It takes learning, reading a book or two. Even if you're gifted in something, you still need to learn about that gift that you
most definitely.
And business etiquette, like you gotta know this type of stuff. And unfortunately for her, and fortunately for her, these are growing pains, learning lessons that she can progress, go forward, and move forward.
She got it. Now they the family is suing her for like second-degree assault. Now,
which I think is wrong.
Yeah, I think that's doing too much now.
I think it's doing too much, but everyone's always trying to get a buck. But you know what? She'll get some pretrial diversion and call it a day.
She's gotten great publicity for her little, shop, hasn't she?
But she's also gotten threats too.
Yeah, but are those people who are going to come into your salon anyway? I mean, people who are actually in the area looking to get their hair done. She did good work.
Right? Clearly. Yeah. But again, make good choices. That wasn't a good choice.
Entourage, drop that in the comments and let us know. Who do you side with, the client or the stylist in this situation? Did the stylist take it too far? And what could she have done differently?
What they say? What would Jesus do? What would you do?
Jesus have done in this situation? But Jesus can make his own food, right? He can make his own dinner appear. The rest of us gotta go figure it out. I don't know about Jesus, but he's a good example.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, so let us know what you think. But if you got this far in the video, you must be enjoying it. So you want to hit that like button. Do us a favor, hit that like.
Drop some comments.
And we do this every week. So if you want to hear the tea every week, hit that subscribe button because we try to keep it hot. So anyway, that's it for tonight. See you next week.